Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to take a look at Deuteronomy chapters 5 through 7. These chapters are going to be a reminder to obey and trust the one true God. And also, chapter 6 is probably the most powerful chapter in the book of Deuteronomy, at least from my perspective. So that's kind of one of my faves in this book. All right, so chapter 5, Moses brings the people back to the core of their relationship with God, the Ten Commandments. He reminds them of that awe-filled moment when at Mount Sinai, God spoke to them through fire, not just to their parents, but this is a promise, a set of laws and commands and guidelines for them as well in this current generation. Moses recites those 10 commandments, calling them to honor God above everything else, keep the Sabbath, respect those in authority, avoid things like murder, adultery, theft, and lying and coveting. He reminds them of all those things. But it's not just a list of rules. It's actually about establishing a healthy relationship. You see, Moses is going to go on to teach them and remind them how terrified they were when God's voice was thunderously coming down on that mountain, and how they begged Moses to speak to God on their behalf. But God agreed, acknowledging their reverence, and also expressed a longing. He says, "Oh, that their hearts would always be inclined to fear me and keep all my commandments." Moses is going to remind them, urging them, love God, walk in his ways, and it will go well with you and your children. And then chapter 6 is probably one of the most important in the whole Bible. It's a pivot point for the book of Deuteronomy, and it's going to be echoed even in the New Testament. It's a passage called the Shema, which means to hear. So it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength." This is going to sound oddly familiar for those of us who know the New Testament, some of the New Testament things where Jesus speaks and he says almost these exact same words. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself, right? This is a reminder that it's about relationship, not simply about rules. This is powerful, so make sure to keep these and commit these words to your heart and to your mind. And then in chapter 7, Moses is going to shift the focus to what lies ahead, taking possession of the promised land, namely. So God will drive out the nations before them. Israel must not compromise. No intermarrying, no idol worship, no blending of cultures that would lead them away from God. Focus on God's commands to the letter. Remember from several weeks ago, the whole M&M conversation? God doesn't want them to miss anything. He wants them to take out all those M&Ms. And if you don't remember, you'll have to go back to the M&M episode. I don't remember the episode number, but I'm sure you can find it. So if we were to summarize all this stuff, right, these chapters remind us to love God with everything we have. That's where we'll end today, loving God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Be well, friends.